Last month, we did one of our op-ed pieces here talking about the new school vote that's coming up in November. This would be to build an elementary school just north of Detroit Lakes here, as well as do some reconstruction and refurbishing to some of the existing buildings. And I said at that time I had a lot of questions and I don't know exactly where I'm going to vote. I still got a lot of questions. I still don't know exactly where I'm going to vote, but I do have the answer to at least some of those questions, and I'd like to share them with you. I was talking on my radio talk show, 1340 KDLM Lakes Live, last week, and I was talking about an op-ed piece written to the local paper here that was written by Donald Johnson. And Doug Froke, superintendent of the Detroit Lakes School District, happened to hear part of my conversation and called in, so I was able to talk with them about some of those concerns. And we'll start with one of the concerns brought up in the article, and one I also had. An awful lot of money is proposed being paid for this piece of land, close to $13,000 an acre. Well, after talking to Superintendent Doug Froke, he said, frankly, it was supply and demand because of all the different regulations required and the land space required to build this school, that really outside of town was the only place they could go. There was no place in town that did not, A, cross too many gas lines, B, come in contact with the flyway, C, be too close to railroad tracks, and a whole variety of other things. So he said basically because of new regulations, moving it outside of town was frankly their only option. And the price, well, it's subjective to the market, I guess, and that's the price that has been decided on. Another aspect that I was concerned with is Rossman Elementary School. What's going to happen to that particular building? Is it going to be abandoned? To be honest, this is something many listeners shared with me as one of their concerns, and several citing it as a reason they couldn't support the project. Well, Rossman Elementary School would not be abandoned if this building project is proposed. However, its function would change within the district. Administrative offices would then be moved to Rossman Elementary. The elementary students would be moved out and moved to the new site that's going to be built and over to Roosevelt, which would be refurbished. Preschool children, however, would still be taught in Rossman Elementary School, as well as all the administrative offices there as well. Lincoln Education Building would most likely be closed down and sold, and its services currently held at Lincoln Education moved over to Rossman as well. And also at Rossman, and this comes in contact with another question I had about the Boys and Girls Club, which early on seemed to have some involvement. They would ideally like to lease space out to Rossman Elementary, or in Rossman Elementary School, to the Boys and Girls Club if everything gets approved and if an agreement could be worked out between the entities. So there would still be some involvement there. And it wouldn't be costing taxpayers any money to have that involvement with the Boys and Girls Club. A lot of people in the article that was written by Don Johnson talked about how this is a rush to a building. I can tell you this, I do not believe this school district has rushed to this decision whatsoever. About 18 months ago, committees started meeting on this. 4 or 5 years ago, the space issues were known in Detroit Lakes. They hired a consultant firm to look at the current demographics of Detroit Lakes, actually 2 different consultant firms over the last year and a half, and both have concluded that Detroit Lakes population should continue to increase in the school district as far as this number of bigger kindergarten classes coming in, as far as the size of senior classes graduating, and that could be foreseeable future, kind of keep going on. I mean, after all, they had to move 5th grade to the middle school last year because there was no room for them in any of the elementary buildings. So with those things being known, it should answer some questions. $59 million is still a lot of money. It's still a new elementary school with a lot of other extras in it, and we still don't know, bottom line, what this is going to cost every individual taxpayer, and something, frankly, you'd probably have to talk to the county recorder's office to find out anyway. But at least some of our questions are being answered. And as I've said, this is going to be a topic we're going to be watching closely between now and November, and when I've got more, I'll bring it on to you.